technical difficulties. But I think we're ready to go. Thank you all for being here. I know it's hot in this room, so just, like, if you need some air, just get up.
Why don't we keep the door open? Both doors open?
It's up to you, it just could get noisy because there's a lot of meetings going on and there's a lot like it. I mean, it's your meeting, so whatever you guys want to do.
Could open a window.
I tried.
You
Oh.
I
really
think it's start
did.
with it open and just close
Yeah.
it if it gets loud.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So it's 8:05, Thursday, October 10th. Calling this meeting to order. And we're gonna do roll call first.
Nash, do you have a question for us?
I have 2 questions for you guys.
Questions.
So either your favorite TV show or your dream job as a kid.
Okay. You will be called in random number generated order. The first person is Liv.
My dream job as a kid was actually to be a UFC fighter.
That's what's up.
Wait,
Next person is James.
Right here. I think my favorite dream, my dream job as a kid, I think I wanted to actually like make movies. Yeah.
Allison.
I think my dream job as a kid was to be a professional athlete.
Ambika.
my dream job as a kid was I wanted to be the mayor of San Jose. Like, yeah, District 8 City Council and then mayor.
That's very doable.
AFC senator?
Yeah. Pipeline.
I'd vote for you.
Wait, you gotta move to San Jose first.
That's true.
You're in Virginia. Like.
You're right. I'll work on it.
Mercedes.
My dream job as a kid was Hannah Montana.
Get the best of both worlds here, ASG. Tay.
I'm gonna do a favorite TV show. My favorite TV show is Law and Order SVU.
Herb.
My dream job was to be a fighter jet pilot, F-16, F-22.
Grace.
My favorite TV show is How I Met Your Mother.
Carmen.
My favorite TV show, I think, is 30 Rock.
Nash.
My favorite TV show is Ted Lasso.
Charlie.
My favorite TV show is Community.
For some reason, when I was in kindergarten, I wanted to be a pharmacist. Thank you. Gabby.
Here. I wanted to be dolphin trainer.
Did you see that one dolphin movie? What's it called?
Dolphin Tale?
Dolphin
We all
Scholastic.
Arne.
I wanted to be in the NBA.
Tara.
I wanted to be Harry.
I like to hold my whole class too. I don't know. In kindergarten we had to do like all about me posters. And it was like, oh, when I grow up I want to be, I was so serious. I was like, I want to be Harry.
Jonathan.
My favorite TV show is Better Call Saul.
A lot of legal drama-loving folks here. You know,
I guess.
Julissa.
I made like a little project in kindergarten that says I want to be a dentist.
And Claire.
I wanted to be in the WNBA. I used to shoot free throws in my driveway and like do the percentage and stuff like that. I'm not getting there, I don't think.
Hey, you never know.
It is
I'm
8:09.
like 5'3", so.
Dream big.
It is 8:09 and a quorum is present.
We're gonna move on to the approval of the previous minutes.
We could do that.
What?
We could always come back to that, right?
No, we can. That's my bad. I'm sorry. We're gonna do the invocation. Please stand. Can I have someone who wanted to be a fairy read the invocation?
May we, the student senate, have the wisdom, patience, and guidance to be responsible representatives. May we be fair in judgments, enlightened in our discussions, and ethical in our actions. Can I get a go Broncos?
Go Broncos!
And can I have someone who likes legal drama shows read the land acknowledgement, please?
We pause to acknowledge that Santa Clara University sits on the land of the Ohlone and Muwekma Ohlone people who trace their ancestry through the Mission Dolores, Santa Clara, and San Jose. We remember their connection to this region and give thanks for the opportunity to live, work, learn, and pray on their traditional homeland. Let us take a moment of silence to pay respect to their elders and to all Ohlone people of the past and present.
You may be seated. Alright, now moving on to the approval of the previous minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Ambika, second from Herb. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. And the previous minutes are approved. Do we have any public comment today? I don't think so. Now moving on to the approval of the agenda, today's agenda.
Motion to approve the second.
Motion from Tara, second from Grace. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Today's agenda is approved. Old business, we don't really have any old business today. So, new business. Okay. So I promised last week that I would check in with all of you about like your individual projects and everything going on. So, yeah, should we just go in this order? Actually, no, let's not go in that order. Let's go this order.
Okay, Allison?
So last year, me and Emma were doing the laundry services project where we were trying to lower the prices of laundry on campus. And she recently sent me all her documents and like everything that she talked about with Eddie Grace, I think. And I'm planning to meet with him sometime next week, but anytime he gets back to me, but he hasn't responded. But yeah.
Next up, Tara.
Yeah, my committee, we also wanted to work on laundry pricing. Another time. And then also to change post office hours, I think that's a big one. I said most of it in my UEO talk, that's basically like, cause there's only 3 of us right now. So it's just kind of like all individual and like also collaborative, so.
Herb?
Yeah, like Tara said, most of what I discussed during my sort of SAC presentation, just sort of managing the team, billions of emails, setting up meetings with guys at CSI to discuss sort of like particularly changes to funding and sort of like additions to documentation and stuff. But yeah.
Also guys, if you're in Senate, can you put like laptops and stuff away? And then when we do the bylaw change,
Frank is not here. Jonathan?
So my committee and I have been working on the voter registration data drive. The county, we're partnering up with the county for that. The county has offered to print out buttons of our design for us to hand out at the voter registration drive, and I designed those buttons this week.
That's awesome.
Caroline's not here.
James James, do you have any, did she say anything that she's working on? I mean, maybe digital.
Tar, whatever. Like,
Yeah, just like the
Good to
dining
use.
point
Yeah,
thing,
cool.
following up with that, and then the Narcan thing was her idea as well.
Okay, awesome,
Um,
wonderful.
Gabby?
Something that I want to do this year is change the post office hours. That's something that with UEO we want to tackle, as well as we spoke about the possibility of doing a workshop in terms of just expanding the information on like Narcans and how to use them. We even talked about like partnering up like with Greek Life to do a workshop. We're deciding whether to do it like publicly, open to everyone, or in partnership with like Greek Life. We're like working that.
Julissa?
So me and I recently started talking about creating a resolution for commuter students, and specifically like ensuring that they get access to RLC so that they can have space where they can relax, and overall just kind of like looking into what are the needs of commuter students. I was thinking we could possibly go ahead and like introduce some commuter students, especially freshmen right now who are currently commuter students, because they're really just like starting to ease into things and integrating into SEU.
I recommend you talk to the commuter student union. Carmen?
So actually one thing that Carolyn, Zafir and I were working on last year was about creating like this like kind of infomercial of sorts for all of the NCAA compliances that athletes have to follow through, so just continuing with that project. And then another two things that I wanted to get started on was one, there's like a bunch of forms that athletes have to do at the beginning of the year, and so I wanted to add just like a quick survey of like what they, for returning athletes, like what they feel that they would like to see, or what like they thought was the biggest need for them. And then I forgot what the second thing I was gonna say was, but I'll remember it later.
Barney?
Yeah, I have two projects in mind right now. One is a big little system for international students. And the second is trying to have an info session for international students to get their state ID. I think that's one of the biggest things they miss when they're here. But the biggest problem I'm having right now is directly coming in contact with them, so I have emailed ISS about it.
Tay?
Right now, I'm currently drafting an open letter regarding the negative campus climate regarding the students with disabilities.
Mercedes?
I'm working with Claire on helping with the medical and state project. And then also I'm meeting with campus safety next week.
Liv?
I'm compiling a list in like a centralized location of like all the resources offered to diverse students on campus, just because there's so many, but there's so many different places. And work with PR to put them on the ASG website.
Ambika?
Sometime next week, I'm actually meeting with a couple students who are really involved with LEAD and kind of been involved with them over the summer to kind of talk about what they would like to see from ASG, especially in terms of more representation and how LEAD students can get involved more with different aspects of leadership on campus.
And Chris?
Yeah, so individual project updates. I've had introductory meetings with Period Qualified in Kipaka and one scheduled with the RSC next week, just reintroducing myself to the new leadership team, so I've already had some pretty exciting conversations there. I wanted to give an update kind of on behalf of Tay and I as the student representatives on the LGBTQ Equity, Justice, and Belonging Working Group, because if you haven't heard yet, gender inclusive housing is officially greenlit for next year, which is super exciting. And so the fourth floor of Nobley and a wing of McWalsh is going to be open for gender inclusive housing. Priority to first and second year students, but upperclassmen that live on campus will obviously be able to be included as well. But currently starting with 60 beds to sort of try out, see how it works, but that's really exciting that that has officially been confirmed. It's about a 10-year long project. 11, pardon me. And third, you guys will be seeing, hopefully, my Narcan open letter rough draft next week. So excited to continue on that project. A lot of love to Tay, Sarah, and Sophia, who have been working on this with me for months now in terms of Narcan access. So excited to show you all the open letter.
And that's it?
Individual sort of like personal projects for me right now is one, working on that Senate toolbox. Got a couple of things in there, but definitely want to build it up more. It's just in our Google Drive under the Senate folder. It's called Toolbox, so it's there. And then, yeah, Mercedes and I are working on some medical amnesty reform type stuff. So originally I thought that that would be a resolution, but then I met with Judy today and we talked about having it be student affairs UPC route, so that just means it'll be a little bit more direct of a change. So, yeah. But I'm really happy with everything you guys are doing. Again, like, this is a group of people that I'm super excited about, so I'm just really happy you all are here. But, yeah.
That's it?
All right. We are now gonna do, let's see, we're gonna do branch confirmations next. So I think we just have ComDev tonight. Mary, do you wanna come up and introduce your nominees?
Okay. We want to do all at the same time, at a minute row, or one by one.
Well, yeah, all at once.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Thank you.
Do you guys, should I just
Yeah, you can
have
have
them
them
up?
up.
Yeah, okay, go. All right. Hi, Karen. So, start with Shay, Unity Les. She's wonderful. Oh, you can introduce yourself first. And then I can be like, this is why they're wonderful. Okay, go.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Shay. I'm a junior environmental studies and public health double major, sustainability minor. Last year I was the scholastic chair for community development, and this year I'm going for the same position. So with that, my main job is running Splash, which I will tell you more about next week, but the idea of it is undergraduates teach a class to middle and high schoolers. So that's my kind of year-long commitment, and that's my main role.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm the wellness chair, and my main project right now is pushing for a bus or some sort of transportation to provide to students to take them to like the grocery stores in the area, because I've noticed that that's a need in the community of students who don't have cars.
Hi everyone, I'm Gargi. I'm a junior neuroscience major with a bio and public health minor, and I'm the campus engagement chair, so just setting up like events and programs that can engage students in our community and help them feel belong here.
I'm Kate. I am a political science major. I'm the civic engagement chair. My main focus is to get the Santa Clara community more engaged with politics and the local political community, and Ambika and her committee team have been really helpful in that, so I appreciate you guys welcoming and with your voter registration drives.
Okay, great.
Does anybody have any questions for any of them?
Why do you guys want to join ASG in specific?
This is my third year going into ASG. From the first year, I really loved community development specifically, but also just the ASG community and trying to make a change on campus. When you kind of get into college, you kind of think like everything's paradise and like perfect, and then once you start realizing more things, you want to help more people out the way you can, so that's why I'm here.
Yeah, kind of same here. This is my first time in ASG. I'm a junior And I think especially last year, I just started noticing a lot of things that like I wish could change on campus, and seeing this position open up and was kind of realizing that like I could contribute to doing that.
Yeah, same thing as well. I think I've just been able to talk to a lot of like first year and transfer students, and like it's interesting to see like how they wish that they could be like more engaged with their community. So just wanting to like bring that to them.
Gosh, I'm gonna sound super repetitive, but I just really want to engage the Santa Clara community with the outside political community for sure.
What's your ways that you both plan on like engaging the community in terms of like social engagement and new political engagement?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely working on voter outreach right now is my main focus for this quarter, obviously with the election coming up. But long term, I would love to invite local politicians. Ro Khanna, he's an amazing voice and he's an amazing local politician. I would love to get some of those people to kind of come and speak on behalf of their constituents and speaking to Santa Clara community.
Yeah, and I think socially, just like trying to host as many programs that are like catered to a wide variety of students. We've been like we've been trying to work with more like campus partners to make it like more engaging, and like hopefully just reaching out to a larger student body.
In which ways do you think that the topic of like political like talks and things could like divide but also like unite the students, because it's a very important topic.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Like Santa Clara is not as a politically active campus.
For sure.
So in which ways do you think it can unite and divide the student body?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like a lot of politics is misinformation and just not having the correct information as a whole. So I think that having someone who does that for a living, like a senator, a House of Representative member, someone that can come in and kind of voice what it actually is to the Santa Clara campus community, that can give them a first-hand experience with someone like that, and definitely inviting both Democratic, Republican, and individual candidates to come and talk, so that way everyone on campus can feel represented in their beliefs.
Close that door too. Yeah, you have to kind of push the trash can out. I kind of use the trash can there. It's a door.
Thank you.
Alright, thank you.
Yeah. Any questions for Mary about any of the ComDev nominees?
Is anyone outside with that? Sorry.
Airtime.
Wait, wait. Yes.
So how many people like apply to each chair position?
Yeah, depends on you. I think competitiveness is relative, but each chair have at least two to three applicants. So it's more of finding the right fit for what they are interested in. So it's like the application is formatted in a way that you can pick those positions that you think you're interested in, and they will explain how their fit match that position, and kind of seeing if this person's a good match. So I've been like picking based on if I think they will thrive in this position.
Can you go into more depth about why you picked Katie?
Katie? Yeah, for sure. So as a pre-health person and the biology pub health level, it kind of screams wellness, and I've met a lot of people who are pre-health who have an interest in wellness, and Katie is an electrical engineering major, and she brought, I think, fresh perspective to things that I've heard a lot from other people talking about wellness and what they want to do with it. And specifically, for example, she's working on like free grocery bus to local stores, and that's something that I've not heard other people talk about. It's actually an initiative that I think is very needed on this campus, especially with our campus food environment. And I'm really passionate about food security, and something that I thought, this is great. And so on her application also, she specified like events that involve changing existing events to be improving it in the ways that I didn't think about. So I was like, this is great, even though she didn't have extensive involvement with like wellness-centered organizations on campus.
Any other questions?
What was the fourth position?
She's civic engagement chair.
Oh,
Which,
The fourth person?
yes, Kate, that you were talking to?
Yes.
Yes, civic engagement. Yeah.
Has that always been a position?
Yes.
Other questions? I'll just remind everyone that we have the option to wipe out here.
Motion to wipe ballot.
Second. Is that motion from Jonathan? Second from? Oh, second from Lynn. All those in favor of white balloting say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. We're gonna white ballot then. So I'll entertain a motion to vote.
Motion to vote.
Second. Motion from Jonathan, second from, is it Gabby? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. All those in favor of voting say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, so all those in favor of, we're gonna do a voice vote. All those in favor of all of them being confirmed, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Great. They are confirmed. We're gonna welcome them back in with a slow clap.
Kind of forgot what my job was. Just hanging out back there. All right. Yeah, let's do this. Okay. Okay, I'll have you guys raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, please state your name. Do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution and bylaws
Do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution and bylaws
of the Associated Student Government
of the Associated Student Government
of Santa Clara University.
of Santa Clara University.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Do we have any other branch confirmations tonight? No, I don't. Okay, we're gonna move on to UPC confirmations. Just as a reminder, UPC stands for University Policy Committee, so these are committees, there's multiple of them, but these are committees where basically students are on them, faculty are on them, staff, admin, and it's just goes hand in hand with like Santa Clara's promise of shared governance. So, yeah. Erta, do you want to introduce?
Yeah, should we also have that, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had to pick 4 people for the UPCs, 2 for student affairs, 1 for academic affairs, and 1 for the parking and transportation committee. 1 for the student affairs committee is returning, so and she can't join us today because she has a class like she cannot skip. So that's going to be a video, and if you guys have questions for her, you can email her or text her. But yeah, so I picked Veronica for Student Affairs Committee, Carmen for Academic Affairs, and Jack for the Parking and Transportation Committee. So if you guys want to introduce yourself just a little bit.
I'm Veronica. I'm a senior computer engineering major and a political science minor. I'm involved in RSO, or I'm involved in APIL and
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm in SCAP, which is a CSO, and then I'm also in the department in OML.
I'm Carmen. As you know, I'm your Senator at Large for Athletic Relations. I'm a mechanical engineering major, aerospace minor, and I'm a sophomore.
My name is Jack. I'm a freshman, so only been here a couple weeks. I'm currently undeclared, but I'll probably major in econ. And yeah, I have I've explored a few clubs so far, but I've only been here for a couple weeks, so.
Do you want to do the video now?
Yep.
Okay. I think
I shared it with you.
Shared it or emailed it?
It's a Google Drive, and I shared it with you like right before Senate. Shared. Maybe it's in your email. No, it's called UPC. Maybe it's in your email though.
Oh, this
There,
one?
yep.
I got you.
Oh, no on there. Try again.
Is that bad?
Mendoza. I am a
There we
junior
go.
here at Santa Clara University, majoring in marketing. I want to apologize for not being able to be there in person with you guys. I have class from 7 to 9. It is an amazing class, and I just want to apologize. But I still want to introduce myself and just mention why I would love to serve on the University Policy Committee for Student Affairs again this year. I served last year. It was an amazing opportunity. There was a lot of conversations that were had, and I definitely loved being able to be a part of a community and branch out to different organizations and programs on campus to connect and be able to learn how we can better serve our student population despite our backgrounds and caring for the student as a whole, putting their mental health, physical health, and emotional well-being first. So I have a meeting with Paul next week, and regardless if I serve on the committee or not, I definitely want to continue to have these conversations with professors, faculty, and staff to see how we can better support our students here at Santa Clara. A little bit about me is I am first gen. I am the youngest of 5, so I grew up being the baby, but I have a lot of nieces and nephews who I enjoy spending time with. I love cooking, baking, going to baseball games, and yeah, that's a little bit about me. If you see me on campus, feel free to say hello. I love chit-chatting and getting to know more people, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me or stop me on campus. Really, I don't mind. But I hope you guys have an amazing meeting and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, guys.
Should we do questions? Yeah, any questions for any of those 3?
You just get like a quick 2-sentence why you wanted to be on the committees.
Yeah. I was stuck on the committee my sophomore year, so 2 years ago, and it was just a good experience. I feel like I'm involved in a lot of organizations on campus, and it's good to be able to advocate for those people in those organizations.
Yeah, for me, last year I was on the dining services committee, so I just saw how impactful those spaces can be and how they get just taken so much more serious. So I thought the academic affairs committee was just somewhere that I wanted to be a part of, and also I think it just makes me a better senator when I'm more involved, and it makes it easier for me to understand kind of what's going on and then relay that to all of my constituents, I guess.
Yeah, so I want to be in the Parking and Transportation Committee because I feel like in the Bay Area, public transportation could be better, which is why I think, the need for parking is super important. And yeah, I just feel like the area that we're in, it's not a huge campus, so that's why I feel like we need to make sure, the parking spots are distributed fairly.
Should we also give them out?
Yeah. What's your #1 goal with being on the committee?
Goal?
Goal.
Okay. For me, I feel like it's advocating for accessibility and funding within organizations.
Yeah, so for the academic affairs committee, it's like reviewing all of the proposals of like major changes, minor changes, any academic issues, and so just being like a good representative of what students actually need, seeing as there's only really one undergraduate seat, just trying to do like my best to be as fair as possible in those things.
Yeah, I'd say just ensuring that, especially commuter students, ensure that they get, fair parking, and also faculty too, and also just to make sure that, between freshmen and sophomores, between everyone, that, they all get an equal share of parking.
Wonderful. Any other questions? Matthew or Nina, can you escort them? Thank you so much. Sorry. Do you have any questions for Erta first?
Yeah.
So why did you choose
Yeah, so for the student affairs committee, there was, I think, 8 or 9 applications. For the academic one, there was 4, and for the parking and transportation one, there was 2. For the parking and transportation one, I think Jack, as a freshman, he wants to get involved, and I think this committee is like the perfect way to like kind of get your feet in. And he's from the Bay Area, so he knows like how things work around here, what the issues are. Yeah, and then for Carmen, I didn't even have to interview her. She stood out to me from just the application. She wants to get involved, as I've seen the past year. Her being like her major and minor, she's very involved and she knows what's going on in those like areas, and she definitely like has like stuff that she wants to do, and she's willing to listen and voice her opinion. And then for Veronica, she's involved with the OML, SCAP, and she's already been on the committee before. So I think I wanted it to kind of go to someone who could outreach even more people than ASG. And I think she's the perfect person for that, given her roles in all those organizations and other RSOs that she's involved with. Yeah. Any other questions? Now you can motion that.
Motion to wipe out.
Second. Motion from Jonathan, second from Taya. All those in favor of white balloting, say aye.
Aye. Oh, I guess I didn't answer what one.
I think you did.
Oh, I did?
I think you talked to Susan first.
Oh, for one, she was on it last year, and she wanted to be on it again this year, and they wanted her back. So it was kind of just like everyone wanted her there, by the way. Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Did I do the ayes?
Yeah.
Okay. All those opposed say nay. Okay. We're gonna wipe ballot then?
Second.
Oh. Motion from Tara, second from Grace. All those in favor of voting say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay. All those in favor of all of them going on to these UPCs say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Awesome. They're confirmed.
Do we still clap?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's do it.
You don't need to be smart.
Yeah, you guys are
Happy.
All right. We're gonna move on to discussing the bylaw change from last week. Just as a reminder, this is technically our first official time talking about this, so we're not voting this week. We're just gonna go through some of the comments on here, and just discuss any concerns or questions that you guys have, so, yeah. We're gonna start by just going through the comments, and, yeah, and then we'll go from there. Does that sound good? Okay. Okay, here it is first. Also, you guys, if you need to look at it on your laptops, now's a good
There's one at the very top.
Oh, there it is, yeah, can you scroll up, please? Thank you. So yeah, so does anybody have a preference on the title? What do you think? No preference.
I think if we're not just increasing the VPs.
I feel like the vice president's not just like a helper or sidekick, like they also got voted in at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was just like a small word change.
I totally agree, and you have your own responsibility, and Ryan does too. How do we feel about that? Yeah, okay. Okay. And then here, Ertic went in and basically like, she knows the position best, and so, me, Ryan, Carmen, and Allison sort of tried to, I would say like, do the best we could with adding in what we felt that the VP does, but obviously she knows best, so she put in, some suggestions, but, yeah, what do we think about this first one? Or these first two, I guess?
It's more of an open question as to like the technicality, this might be for Bailey or in general. With regards to open letters and how those are sent out then, would the VP be responsible for that as well?
The VP is not responsible for the, like solely responsible for the ASG email. It says emails as in like all the communication that's done through emails, such as the all call recaps, all my communication throughout the summer.
Got it.
But for the actual ASG email, that's outlined where it talks, like resolutions of the letters are written.
Got it. Might be better to add like internal communication forms on.
Well, it's not just internal. I don't do just internal. I handle most of ASG communications with other CSOs, other departments, all events, most of them.
I'll just say, given that it says including but not limited to, I think if for clarity purposes, I don't think removing emails changes the meaning of the point at all.
Did you say removing emails?
Removing it wouldn't, I'm just, for your guys' decision obviously, but removing it wouldn't change the meaning of it at all because it's
But not
including
limited.
but not limited.
Yeah, okay. Did someone raise their hand? Yeah, John.
I was just wondering, are the nature of these bylaw changes to better reflect what the vice president is actually doing, or to change the roles of the vice president to add more things on?
I think, it could depend. I would say for this one, yeah.
I think the way I see it is, most of it is to reflect what the vice president actually does,
Yeah.
but is not seen by other people because it's done, but it's not said in the bylaws. And then there's also more responsibilities that we've added this year, such as the Greek forum. The formal is like more of a new thing, so I also wanted those to be in there.
Yeah. So, yeah, Grace.
I'll wait, sorry, it's a couple thingies down.
Okay.
Sorry.
So how do we feel about these two, 3 and 4? Good, mostly? Okay. Accept that. That makes sense. Okay. And then number 5, Bailey, you were right, Allcom is the same as State of the Community, right? Yeah. So this is just, 5 is just clarifying what that is. How do we feel about this little clause right here, this sentence? Good? Okay. And then number 6 is about town halls. How do we feel about that? No objections? Okay. I think that looks great too. Number 7, okay. What do we think about this? Deleting 7 or making it a sub-bullet of number 5? No, number 6.
inviting specific RSOs to the town hall.
Yeah. Yes. Do we agree? Okay. Number 12. So yeah, this is obviously a huge responsibility of the VP. I guess Mike, yeah, right.
Could that possibly be combined with 7 as, I think maybe formal could be considered like an activity, because, you know, we're all encouraged to go and spend time together.
I think 7 is just specifically talking about the transition ceremony.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how I read it. Bailey, what is that how you read it?
Yes, but I do think it would be, maybe to cut down on the length of this, I think it would be a good idea to maybe combine them into one, since
Okay.
they're overlapping.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna, or like add it with a different, yeah.
Perhaps we could do like plan and coordinate, all, ASG ceremonies and activities, and then again, like the, including but not limited to
I like that.
transitions, ASG formal, etc.
Okay, I like that. What does everyone else think? Good? Okay. I'm just gonna write a note here, and then we'll write it in. Okay. Number 13, it's about Greek form. Oh, there's actually, I don't think there's a comment on that. Yeah. It's just yellow. Where's this? Oh. So this little issue is about all-call. Bailey, do you want to talk more about your comment?
Yeah, just the fact that all-call is not a constitutional event, like, it's not listed anywhere in the Constitution. And so I don't think it's probably the best idea to include it for the first time in a appendix. So what my recommendation would be is we just make it generally about ASG-wide meetings. And that basically make the point that the vice president is in charge of helping set the agenda for those meetings.
Yeah. Okay. Does anybody else have comments about that? No. Okay. I think that's a good idea. Ryan and Allison and Carmen and I will work on rewriting that aspect. Let's see. And then K here, attend annual CSO training. Any objections to that? No. Is this right, Ted? The wording?
Which one?
The CSO training.
Yeah, it is, correct.
Awesome, okay, great. Great. Okay, so that's what we added, or what has been added to this position in order to justify increasing the stipend. Just, I guess as a reminder, I should have done this before, but the reasons for increasing the stipend was one, to sort of reflect the level of work that this position requires and to fairly compensate for it. And two, another huge reason was to align ourselves with other CSOs who have stipend tiers and that are structured the same way. Ryan, do you have anything to add?
I would say the VP for the position and the pres position work closely together on clearing everything.
Yeah.
Just because it's like not in the Constitution, like even UCC meetings, board of trustee speeches, like anything I run it through Erica and like Sarah, of course. So, and anything like committee appointees, like Erica and I work on that stuff together too.
questions about that part? Yeah.
Well, firstly, I appreciate the work you do so much. I do think, kind of equalizing the divide is beneficial. But I'm curious to know if, as the chief of staff position was added as a way to kind of distribute the responsibilities of exec. Thanks, Sarah, you're amazing. I'm curious to kind of know if we also think possibly changing or adding to the chief of staff portion could be helpful as well.
Yeah. Well, the chief of staff position is added as of this year, and this is like the first year that they're getting paid. So I guess the reason why they picked, I'm guessing the reason why they picked that tier and that payment is just because it's the first year and seeing like how chief of staff actually like works with AHG. And it's also like not all present VPs need to have a chief of staff. It's like a optional position, but I'm guessing that. Oh, really? That's original. Okay, it's not an optional position, never mind. But I'm guessing the reason why they picked that is to have it in line with the other VPs and to kind of see how the first year, I guess, would go and what responsibilities they could take on, I guess.
Okay. But do you think it, like, perhaps also maybe reviewing that, and of course with like Sarah's leadership based on what she has accomplished and plans to accomplish for the rest of the year could be helpful, just so like if we're making VP changes to the bylaws or bylaw changes, perhaps also, in conjunction.
Could I just touch on that? Yeah, so the chief of staff position, we've had it for like 3 weeks, we had it for a quarter last year, but like this year, I would like to see how it goes, at least for a quarter before we change any bylaw descriptions. And like an example of how we're utilizing it, Erica and I have a lot of meetings that we can't always attend. There's an NCC DAT team meeting that Sarah and Claire went to, because Erica and I just couldn't. So that's how we're utilizing that position as of right now. When Erica and I can't step in, we would still like to send a representative from ASU. And Sarah's been helping with a lot of other things going on. But until we get like a clear description of how we want to utilize this role, I don't think we should change the bylaws just yet.
I think that's really fair. Maybe revisit it.
Yeah, it's also the other, like, they're paid the same amount as the other VPs, so like, that's also like another conversation that would, I guess,
Yeah, Grace.
Well, I guess like on that thought, like I think for me, on the surface, I'm in real support of the VP getting a stipend increase. Like you're saying, like to be on par with other CSOs and also just like recognizing the work that you do. But kind of what Ryan just said, if we're still figuring out the dynamic of chief of staff in relation to the present VP, like are we kind of jumping the shark with trying to like increase compensation for VP if we come to find out that the dynamic shifts a little bit and then chief of staff is really underpaid in comparison to the work. Like and like that's like no shade to you, Erta, because like you do so much work and I really do think that you deserve compensation for it. I just wonder if like we're maybe moving too quick and then the dynamic, because we haven't even had a full year with chief of staff, is gonna find that like a change to compensation now winds up not being the best decision. That's just kind of what's going through my head right now.
Last Senate meeting, it was said that the VP position already had a stipend increase in the past, and then it was brought back down. Does anyone know why it was increased and then why it was subsequently decreased after a year?
Ted, do you know?
It was to bring, it was at a higher tier when all the other VPs, so Comdev, PR, and finance were they were all on the same level, and so they wanted to elevate the vice president, which sometimes is called executive vice president, to a higher level to create 3 tiers instead of having president at tier 1 and then everyone else on cabinet as tier 2. So it was to add a stratification level, and so there was some back and forth, and it was like a 7-year span. But I don't remember the exact dollar amounts, but that's generally there was a lot of fluctuation between what tier the executive vice president is.
Why was it brought back down again? It was brought to the second highest tier, why was it brought down?
When we introduced tier, the 4,500 tier, that's fairly new, that's probably about 6 years old. That tier had never existed around like 2017. And so below the president, the next highest tier was 2205. And so the tier that we're elevating this to is 4,500.
Any other comments about this, what we're talking about?
This is kind of like later on when we talk about the Bronco news producers, so I can like come back, I just don't know if we need like, we're done talking about the whole bylaw change.
Well, I'll have Ertigo and then Ethan.
Yeah, I kinda just wanted to like talk about the chief of staff thing, like obviously I know that's Sarah does a lot of work, but I think the way that I see it is kind of like what is the work that's required by the Constitution, and as of right now, like the work that we give to Sarah is kind of delegated, or like things that are just like required for us to do, and then we kind of delegate it to Sarah, and then Sarah also is like chair of the archiving committee, which is like on the Constitution. I totally agree that like chief of staff is a lot of work, and I like see that for I think like all the VPs. I totally think that like our funding in general should be way higher to compensate everyone, but yeah, that's kind of like a little background.
Are we ready to move on to talking about everything that we're talking about now, but also in the context of adding in the discussion about Bronco News? Yeah.
This is a detail thing, it's
That's
like
okay.
just random, but just for part J, like acceptable circumstances for the VP not attending is approved at the VP's discretion. I just don't know if that should like be the advisor, chief of staff, chief justice, president. I think it needs like circumstances for us. Well, they attend quarterly ASG retreat though. Yeah. Chief justice, you wanna come clarify?
Yeah, that's boilerplate language that's in every single appendix,
Right.
and I agree, it does not make a lot of sense there. Given that the vice president is organizing the SU retreat, I'm not sure there's any acceptable circumstances for them to not attend. So we can maybe, as part of this, consider just cutting everything after the first sentence.
I'm just a details kind of gal.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so does everyone understand what's, okay, so we could, do we like including it, or there's also what Bailey said of cutting everything after attend quarterly ASG retreat? Because this, I would say J makes sense on every other position's description, but then when it's exactly what Grace said, it just sounds, it's a little silly, but, yeah, what do we think? Carmen?
I think, yeah, cutting it, and then up at the very like top when it's talking about like the organization of the ASG retreat, then we could put like the stuff about the vice president being in charge of like people communicating like their excused or unexcused absences and all of that stuff, and so just moving it up. Cause I think like the acceptable circumstances, one at the VP's discretion doesn't make sense, but then the next sentence that's like previously scheduled events, that just sounds like it's saying like, oh, like other people that aren't the VP would have to communicate to the VP why they would not be able to attend. So that sounds like an organizational, thing, so yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Any other comments? Yeah. Huh? No? Okay. Do we want to talk about Bronco News? Are we ready? Okay. So I think that this is definitely a question that I think people probably have and I have too, which is like, I think that ASG should move in the direction of having paid positions for everyone, because it's an equity issue if we don't. But at the same time, actually, I'm gonna stop. What do people have to say about the Bronco News part and cutting this stipend? Yeah.
I don't think it's not really about the stipend. I agree with you. like below like VP, like I think everyone's kind of on the same playing level. But I was just gonna say, getting rid of attending one Senate meeting per month, I feel like we could do per quarter. I get that it's cutting hours down out of their commitment, but I feel like PR and Senate is already kind of like, we don't really communicate that much, like there's not like an established channel, and having them come to like Senate meetings, like will give them things to talk about in Bronco News, like not that they can't think of other things, obviously they're very talented, but I just feel like I feel like they should have to come to at least one meeting a quarter to like to truly understand what's happening in everyone's projects.
There was a, I don't know where our comment thread went, but, or did you resolve it?
I resolved it because you were right. It varies from position to position, but there are some who are required per month, some that are per quarter, some that aren't required at all. So.
Yeah, so I guess to give context, and to sort of respond to what you just said, I agree. I think that non-senators and non-people in exec should be required to attend Senate at like a regular interval. The reason we got rid of it was because there's currently not like a standardized amount of senates that non-senators and non-exec people have to go to. So if I remember correctly, the rest of PR, it's not in the time requirements, like they don't have to go to Senate at all, at least not in like the Constitution. Some other like positions have talk about like a predetermined number of senates. Some talk about doing this like monthly senates. Other positions talk about doing quarterly senates. And so in my opinion, this is a potential like separate bylaw change of just like standardizing Senate attendance requirements for non-senators. But yeah, does that give context?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like,
We could, I mean, now that you bring that up, we could change it to quarterly in here. Because I think that that's the most reasonable time interval. We could change it to quarterly here and then do a separate bylaw change for other positions. What do people think about that? Yeah? Okay, cool. Does anybody else have things to say? Yeah.
So I'd like to go up to the compensation aspect of it. I think, I personally do think Bronco News, or especially the head producer and editor, should be compensated because I feel like Bronco News is something that is very known across SCU. Like even though students might not be super aware of the fact that we have Senate meetings every week, most people do know Bronco News just because historically they've been so active in the community and really engaging with people. So I do think just for that amount of work, I think a compensation is important, especially since the idea of removing the compensation was put out after Ben was confirmed. But I do think, I guess to sort of align more with ASG, maybe kind of having more of the ASG voice represented, we could possibly add something about how the work produced by Bronco News should reflect a lot of the discussions we have here during Senate. Because we all love funny, engaging videos, but I also think that this is a great opportunity for everyone in our student body to actually be aware of what resolutions we're discussing and have more people be involved. So I think having compensation is important, but also because there is a compensation, I think ensuring that there are direct ties to a lot of the work that we're trying to push for.
Yeah, totally agree. Does anybody want to add to that? Yeah, John.
Is the main reason for reducing the compensation of the Bronco News guy for budget constraints?
Ryan, do you wanna jump in?
It's not, it is partially to do with budget constraints, we can probably fund like 3 events with that stipend, but the main reason is that, I mean, it's not like a person specific role, I'm just saying like, I've just noticed this, but I'm sure other members in ASG do it as well. All of like last year, Nina and Matthew were reported for every single Senate, and I'm not saying like it's in their description or anything like that, but I would come in at like 9 PM for like some Senates last year. I was part of the finance branch, they would always be there. Like I'm just saying, I don't know, I don't see a way to make it fair that one person that is not in Senate and not in exec gets a stipend. That's my only concern. I'm not saying they don't do good work, I'm not saying this person shouldn't get paid, I'm just saying I can't find a reason to justify just paying one non-exec, non-Senate person.
What do people think about that? Yeah, Carmen.
Yeah, I kind of agree with all the points made, but I especially agree with like what Brian was saying, and I think, like, part of the reason, like, especially like last year, the way I saw like Hugh getting the stipend and everything was more like, in a way, like a start of like a grant or something, because he was starting this project from scratch. But now that it's more of like a formal position, I just think like while we can't pay everyone, it's just more equitable that it be the way that Ryan was saying, where like it's exec and Senate positions get paid, and that way it's just like there's a standardization of sorts, and that way it doesn't feel like there's some sort of like unfairness. I don't know.
Other thoughts? Bless you.
I was gonna note,